I'm Mark Smith, Superintendent of Spartanburg One School District 1. I'm now in my third year serving this great district, and it continues to be an honor and a joy to work alongside our students, staff, and community each day. This video shares the same presentation that I've been giving during our community forum sessions. For those who haven't been able to attend in person, we wanted to make sure you could see it as well. In this short video, I'll provide an overview of our upcoming 2025 bond referendum, which we're calling One Vision, One Future. The goal is to educate, not advocate, to share clear, factual information about the proposed projects, why they're needed, and how they can be funded without a new tax increase. I'll walk you through each phase of the plan, highlight the proposed projects, and explain how these efforts fit into our long-term vision for Spartanburg One. Let's get started. A few years ago, the district began looking closely at both our facilities and our student population. Just before I came to this role, Dr. Gardner, our former superintendent, and the Board of Trustees commissioned a demographic and building study. That study began during the 2022-2023 school year and examined every school in Spartanburg School District 1, looking at building conditions, enrollment trends, and future growth projections. The results gave us a clear picture of where we stand today and helped guide the planning for the future. Before we could move forward with any kind of building plan, we wanted to make sure we had the facts. You can't enter into a building campaign without knowing exactly what you're targeting and why. So I want to take a moment to explain how we evaluated our facilities. This slide shows the facility condition assessment that came out of our district-wide study. Each building was scored across several categories to give us a clear picture of its overall condition. At the top, you'll see a few key areas. Site. This includes things like landscaping, parking, and water drainage around the property. BE, or building envelope, that's the exterior walls and roofing. INT, or interior, which covers interior walls, ceilings, and flooring. MEP stands for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, exactly what you would expect. And finally, HSS, which stands for Health, Safety, and Security, that covers ADA compliance, visitor access control, and overall school safety. Each of these areas was scored on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 is critical. That's not where you want to be. Those are marked in red. 2 is poor, 3 is fair, 4 is good, and 5 is excellent. We then compiled an average score for each of the 10 schools across these categories. Just to note, we didn't include the Career and Technology Center we share with District 2 in this presentation. When you look at the results, 3 schools stood out as the most in need of major improvement. Mabry Middle School, which received an overall composite score of 2, that's in poor range across all categories. New Prospect Elementary, which averaged 3s, fair overall, but dipped to a 2 in mechanical, electrical, and plumbing category. And O.P. Earl Elementary, which received 3s in every area, indicating fair condition. These are the 3 schools included in our proposed building plan. Later in the presentation, I'll walk you through what's planned for each one. When you look at the age of our buildings, the building plan becomes even clearer. At the top of this chart, you see our district office, which was built in 1944, right in the middle of World War II. As a former social studies teacher, I can't help but appreciate that bit of history. That building is now 81 years old, and I want to be very clear, it's not part of this building campaign. As long as I'm superintendent, our focus will always remain on the needs of our students first. It's been 20 years since Spartanburg One has built a new school. The last 2 projects were completed together, Landrum High School and Chapman High School. Now, looking at the schools included in this plan. T.E. Mabry Middle School, where we are today, was originally built in 1954, making it 71 years old. O.P. Earl Elementary was built in 1955, which makes it 70 years old. New Prospect was built in 1957, and its old gymnasium is even older than that. That gym has become a historical landmark in the community, and I want to be clear, we're keeping it as part of our history and identity. If you look across the district, you'll see many of our schools are 60 to 70 years old. By comparison, Chapman and Landrum High School are our newest facilities. Hard to believe, but they're now turning 20 years old. And I want to take a moment to recognize our custodians and maintenance teams. They do an outstanding job of keeping these buildings in such good shape despite their age. Now, when we compare our buildings to the rest of Spartanburg County, The average construction year for schools in District 1 is 1968. That means the average age of our school building is 58 years old. To put that in perspective, the statewide average age of school buildings in South Carolina is 48 years old. And if you've lived here long enough, you know you don't want to be on the wrong side of a state average. Nearby districts like Spartanburg 4, Woodruff, and Spartanburg 3, Broome, have newer facilities with average ages in the mid-40s, and District 4's number will drop even more once their new Woodruff High School opens next school year. So when we talk about our building needs, this is what we're looking at. Schools that have served us well for generations but are now 70 years old and counting. And remember, if the bond referendum is approved, it will still take 3 years before new buildings open. That means that by the time the construction finishes, Mabry will be 74 years old, Opie Earl will be 73 years old, and New Prospect will be nearly 70. This timeline shows why it's so important to plan ahead so that future generation of students in Spartanburg 1 have the facilities they deserve. I do want to take a moment to point out some growth happening in our area with this slide. Now I want to be very clear, this building program is not about growth. We're not launching a building campaign because of new developments. We're doing this because of the age and condition of our current schools. That said, we are seeing some growth across District 1. This map shows new subdivisions that have been approved since 2020. The purple areas represent developments with more than 100 home sites, and the blue ones show between 50 and 100 new homes. Some of these neighborhoods are still under construction while others are already occupied. You'll notice that most of the purple, those larger developments, are in the northern part of the district, mainly around Landrum. We also have some new growth in the New Prospect area and near Holly Springs. Again, while growth is happening, the real reason behind this plan is to address aging facilities and ensure our students have safe, modern learning environments. Now, I want to walk you through our overall plan. Back in May, the Board of Trustees approved Phase 1 and Phase 2 of our building plan. Phase 3 has not been approved, and we're going to take this process one step at a time. Let's start with Phase 1. The good news is this phase doesn't cost us anything. It's focused on making adjustments with our current system. We began limiting school choice in areas where class sizes were growing, and we even started also limiting out-of-district tuition since we have a number of students who live outside the district but attend our schools. We're also continuing to review and evaluate attendance zones as needed. This Phase 1 is a simple, cost-neutral step to help balance enrollment. Phase 2 is where construction begins. The board approved a new T.E. Mabry Middle School and a new Opie Earl Elementary School, as well as additions and improvements at New Prospect Elementary. At New Prospect, we'll be expanding the cafeteria, which right now is very small for 450 students, along adding 8 new classrooms, a new playground, and redesigned parking and car lines. All of these projects will be happening roughly around the same time. One doesn't have to finish before another starts. Now, looking ahead to the future, this next part is not board approved, but it's part of our long-term planning. Our next priority would be Emmon Elementary School, which was built in 1960 and is currently our next oldest facility. We look to rebuild that school right here on district property, the current Mabry Middle School site, the former Chapman High School. We'd be intentional about keeping some heritage of this location because history and community are important to me. That project would create a K-5 school bringing Emmon Intermediate together with Emmon Elementary, which would save on operational cost and better align with the K-5 model and used across many districts. We'd also look at Campobello Grambling School as a possible K-5 and consider additions and improvements at Holly Springs, especially for parking, car lines, and classrooms. Further down the road, we'll evaluate attendance zones and possibly look at future facility updates at Landrum and Chapman High Schools. Lastly, we're fortunate to partner with Spartanburg District 2 on our Career Center. That facility is in great shape and doing a fantastic job of preparing our students with real-world skills. We're proud of that partnership and of the work those students are doing there every day. Let's take a closer look at each project, starting with Opie Earl Elementary School. The new Opie Earl School will be built to serve around 700 students, up from 450 to 500 we currently have. It will include approximately 115,000 square feet with a target opening date of fall of 2029. The estimated cost of this project is around $50 million, providing the Landrum community with a modern, efficient school built to serve students for decades to come. The current Opie Earl building was constructed in 1955, which makes it 70 years old. As I mentioned earlier, this entire plan is driven by the age of our facilities, and Opie Earl is certainly one that needs to be addressed. Now, I can't share the exact location yet, but I can tell you this: keeping Opie Earl in the Landrum community was very important to us. Being from a small town myself, I grew up in Pauline in the southern part of Spartanburg. I understand how much a school means to its community. That's why we've made every effort to keep Opie Earl within the city limits of Landrum. We're excited about this progress, and even more excited that this project will allow Opie Earl to remain at the heart of the Landrum community. Next, let's talk about T.E. Mabry Middle School. The new Mabry will be built to serve around 1,000 students and will include approximately 170,000 square feet of instructional space. The estimated cost of this project is around $70 million. As you may know, Mabry currently houses 7th and 8th grades, but across District 1 we have a variety of grade configurations, or what we call grade bands. Right now we have a mix that includes a K-8 school at Campobello Grambling, 2 K-6 schools at Holly Springs, Motlow, and New Prospect, and a K-5 school, and a K-3 elementary, and a 4-6 intermediate school. We've made great use of the facilities we have, but it's created a lot of transitions for students, especially in the Inman area, where a child might attend 4 different schools before reaching high school. In most districts in South Carolina, the model is much simpler: K-5 for elementary, 6-8 for middle, and 9-12 for high school. This new Mabry will allow us to align with that model, making things smoother for students and families by reducing transitions and providing a true middle school experience for grades 6-8. The current Mabry was constructed in 1954, and the new facility will be built on district-owned property that we purchased several years ago, about 47 acres at the intersection of Highway 292 and New Cut Road in Inman. If you're familiar with the area, it's near the McDonald's intersection headed towards Lyman. The property sits just across the road and behind the church. It is currently leased as a sod field, but that's District 1 property, and it's the future home of Mabry Middle School. And last but not least, let's talk about New Prospect Elementary School. This project will include 8 new classrooms, a new cafeteria and kitchen, and a new playground for students, along with redesigned car line and parking area to make drop-off and pick-up safer and more efficient. Once complete, New Prospect will have the capacity for about 650 students and include approximately 26,000 square feet of new space. The estimated cost of this project is around $20 million. Because there's less work to do compared to our other projects, New Prospect will likely be the first to open. That said, it will also be the most challenging because school will still be in session during construction. For a time, there won't be a cafeteria available, so we'll have to get creative to make sure our students are still well fed and have safe places to play. And as any elementary teacher will tell you, there's no way we're going to not have a playground, so we'll figure it out. Even with those challenges, this project will make a tremendous difference for students and staff. It will provide more space, safer traffic flow, and modern facilities, while keeping the same close-knit community feel that makes New Prospect so special. Now, one of the biggest questions we always get is, how is this going to be paid for? That's a fair question. My goal is to educate, not advocate. I want to make sure everyone understands how this works and what it means for taxpayers. This bond referendum is a no new tax increase referendum. That's not a slogan, it's a fact. There will be no new taxes created to fund these projects. Our current debt millage rate will not change to fund these projects. So how does that happen? It's all about how we manage our existing debt capacity through something called debt roll-on. Here's what that means. We have older debt, for example, from the construction of Landrum High and Chapman High School, that are about to be paid off. When the debt rolls off, the district can issue new bonds to replace the old ones without raising the overall tax rate. That's how we can fund new construction while keeping taxes where they are today. Another piece of the puzzle is taxpayer growth. You've probably noticed your property value has gone up in recent years, and that's true across Spartanburg County. Property values have increased, and that's helped strengthen the district's financial position. Unlike operational millage, debt service millage is not subject to rollback every 5 years. So any growth creates a positive impact in debt service collections, along with its capacity to issue new debt. Because Spartanburg 1 has managed past bonds responsibly, our district is in a very strong financial position. In fact, our credit rating has improved significantly over the past few years. Moody's Investor Service, a worldwide financial rating agency, upgraded Spartanburg 1 from A3 to A1, jumping 2 levels in a single cycle, which is almost unheard of. And just recently, S&P upgraded our rating from an A- to an A. Those improvements reflect the district's financial health, strong management, and responsible planning, all of which can help us save money on interest and protects taxpayer dollars. We're very proud of that, and it's one of the key reasons this referendum can move forward as a new tax increase plan for our community. As we wrap up, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch and learn. This proposal is about more than new buildings. It's about providing schools while ensuring that our students have safe, modern spaces where they can learn, grow, and succeed. We've worked hard to develop a plan that is fiscally responsible, that uses existing resources wisely, and that can be completed with no new tax increase for our community. Spartanburg 1 has a long history of coming together to do what's best for children, whether you have students in our schools, grandchildren on the way, or you're simply a proud member of this community. This plan represents an investment in our shared future. If you have any questions, please feel free to email those to communications@spart1.org. Thank you.